Terry DWAYNE Ashford here. We're coming here as a backup to that particular production. We just had a vehicle, MOTIV 8D, was a black female that was coming to follow up in support of the police activity of the police officer 945. Police officer 945 this morning staged that the exact same attacker from the Target on May 4th attack this morning to spark emotion, anger, and tried to start another fight by putting the same Target employee that tried to falsify Terry DWAYNE Ashford on May 4th. That same Target employee named Khalili was placed and planted to come near Terry DWAYNE Ashford's vehicle this morning, parked vehicle at the corner of, we've indicated the corner, but it's right past Peabody, and I think the name of the street was Rock Creek Ford. It's an alley, and the alley was, Khalili was walking from the alley, staged and planted to walk directly from the alley of Rock Creek Ford this morning, walked toward the car. Knowing that, what Indacarseat, that guy, Terry DWAYNE Ashford, did is we baited him. We baited him because we're going to lock this police officer away for messing with the wrong one. And that particular police officer was police officer that we reported yesterday in vehicle 945. Now, I'm going to go ahead and give it to you one more time and summarize that live broadcast. And what you saw there is you saw an attack that occurred one day, which we've identified as May 4th, Tuesday, at the Target, Blair Road, and Georgia Avenue. That attack was using a black man by the name of Khalili, who was acting as the Target employee, and that particular Target employee got directly on his walkie-talkie in the face of a shopper. Yeah, in the face of a shopper, this man gets on his walkie-talkie and began to make falsifying statement to somebody on the other end of the walkie-talkie about a shopper who didn't know him from John Doe to Jack Blow. This man began to talk about the shopper on his walkie-talkie after carrying out a stage with another employee by the name of Chris. Now, that happened on yesterday. This morning, it's as if they failed, and this morning, they brought the same Target employee around Terry DWAYNE Ashford and staged him around him. The man walked toward the car. Guess what? In the car, see, that guy did. He cracked the window, and he was going to bait with the stage. We staged an act to bait the employee so that we could bait the Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police. That's exactly what we did. So what we did is we cracked the window and we said inside of our car, that is the Target employee right there that made the falsified statements yesterday, that tried to badger us right there in the store, who got belligerent and derogatory against a shopper who didn't know him from John Doe to Jack Blow. So we made that comment inside of our car with our window cracked. And we baited. We actually baited the Target employee to tell the Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police. Now what we're doing is we're waiting on the Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police. And what we're going to do is we're going to lock this Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police. We've had 2 incidents to happen already before 7 a.m. that indicates that the Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police, the exact same one in vehicle 945 reported on May 4th by Terry DWAYNE Ashford, StreetNOW News. We have every indication to believe that that particular Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police was involved in this scam this morning, also on May 5th. Yeah, Wednesday morning. 2 incidents. Tag number MOTIV 8D was stalking in the car. See that guy, Terry DWAYNE Ashford, this morning, right before this broadcast. Trying to stalk this particular broadcast. Trying to cease it. That's the second thing that happened. The first thing, though, was the woman in the image, the Caucasian woman in the image of the Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police. The Caucasian woman in that particular image of the Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police tried to sick a dog on me at the corner on Montague. Yeah, on Montague and 16th Street in Washington, D.C. Had to be told, learn how to handle your dog in the public. When you're walking in the public, it's a dog that's standing at about 4 feet tall. And the woman's walking past pedestrian, not holding the dog close to her, while the dog was snarling at passing people. So the woman was told, learn how to handle your dog in public. It's a Caucasian woman wearing a green shirt, and Caucasian woman wearing a green shirt, hairstyle in the exact same manner as the Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police reported on May 4th by Terry DWAYNE Ashford, StreetNOW News. The woman practically sicked her dog on Terry DWAYNE Ashford right there and had to be told to handle her shit. Now, that's the second incident. Again, that's actually the first incident. The first incident after the Khalil. We have the Khalil that shows up with the badgering. All of that was intending to sabotage. And what they're trying to do in this particular situation was to test emotions, to see if there's any emotions from the cop carrying out the deceit yesterday and from the victims knowing. That's what they were trying to do. They're trying to see now. The Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police now is trying to make an assertion or a statement regarding whether Terry DWAYNE Ashford is angry. No, I'm not angry, but I'm reporting on you. And so what they did was they staged the exact same fight. It's almost as if, just like I mentioned yesterday, as if the Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police told somebody to get out there and fight Terry DWAYNE Ashford. This is a hypothetical situation that we're sharing with you so you can understand what the Washington, D.C. Police is dumb enough to have tried. They're putting somebody out there to fight Terry DWAYNE Ashford. And that was Khalil yesterday in the Target incident yesterday. When the Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police lose, in which they lost, it's almost as if you beat the person that the cops put out there to fight you, you beat them up in the middle of the street. Well, that ain't enough. The cops didn't come back and try to use the exact same person to sabotage you. The cop used the exact same person to sabotage you. That's Khalil at the Target from yesterday. Now, when we walk into the Target, we will go to a Target and shop all the time. And we will continue to go into that store and shop. That's exactly what we're going to say. Our entering the Target has nothing at all to do with some person that was placed up to carry out a crime named Khalil that we allege. Our SNnews entering of that particular Target will continue, and we will be waiting. The person, the security officer that we're speaking about in this particular situation, his name was indicated on his name tag as Soon, S-O-O-N, S-O-O-N. We're waiting for you too. When we make a call to the Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police, we do not want that female officer who is involved in this particular crime to come. Because if we go into that store and we start to shop as we usually do, and we're not going to stop going into that store to shop because you don't own Target. That's what we're making it very clear. You don't own Target. You're an employee, and if you don't understand what the word employee mean a W-2 employee, then you're going to understand it when you lose your job. That's the first thing you're going to do. We're going to make sure you lose your job first. We're looking at Khalil. We're looking at the security officer by the name of Soon, S-O-O-N. You're going to know your role and your place when it comes to dealing with a shopper. That is exactly what you're going to do. And when it comes to this Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police that you thought they gave you confidence and power, we're going to lock this fucker underneath the motherfucking Alcatraz prison. The purpose for coming to you on the tail end of the live broadcast is to share with every on how to handle these particular situations, that it's not over when it's over. It's not over when it appears that it is over. Again, a failed attempt on May 4th at the Target, Blair Road and Georgia Avenue, brought the exact same attackers this morning at 6:30 a.m. named Khalil to Peabody Street, Washington, D.C. at 13th Street. Well, that particular situation we already knew was a badgering situation. So guess what? Parked vehicle, we also cracked our window and made and started to say, that's him right there, that's him right there. We gave you the opportunity to do what you thought you could do. Now, we want you to go back, and we want you to go back. We want this officer to do what the fuck this officer thought it could do. That's what we're going to do. We're going to put this bitch underneath the motherfucking jail. That's what we're going to do, even as a fucking bitch officer. We're going to put your fucking bitch ass away. Now, that was your first incident, 6:30. At 6:45, they expected us to carry out the broadcast, and that is when they put the Caucasian female in the identical form of the officer. They put her there to sick her dog on Terry DWAYNE Ashford at Montague and 16th Street during the first broadcast. Yeah, there was a woman that looked just like the Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police reported on yesterday, on May 4th. That woman tried to sick her big, almost 4 feet tall dog on Terry DWAYNE Ashford standing near the car taking a photograph of him for the broadcast. That woman had to be told, get your dog and learn how to handle your dogs in public. And of course, we expected the woman to look back now. She's going to act innocent now. Now she's going to act real innocent. Well, your dog is standing there like a damn giraffe in the middle of the street, growling at a person at a pedestrian, and you're not instructing the dog to pull back. So what do you think? We're already there, boo-boo. We're already there. Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police, we already have you connected to the 945 from yesterday. We're ready for you. And we're ready for your dog. As if that was not enough, then came the silver Mercedes. The silver Mercedes SUV, tag number MOTIV8. The number 8 and D as in dog. So black female in the same form and shape of the black female in 945 MPD vehicle reported on May 4th. The black female. The truck, by the way, was labeled FMD on it, as if it was a sergeant or something of that nature. We don't give a flying fuck who in the fuck you are, whether you're a sergeant or not. I'm Terry DWAYNE Ashford. I'm the fucking journalist, SNnews. That's how we're going to handle this. We don't care about you being something up in a corrupted-ass police department. We don't care about that. We'll lock your ass away. So this morning, the third retaliation, as you call it, was the woman in the silver Mercedes SUV, tag number MOTIV, the number 8, D as in dog. Terry DWAYNE Ashford reporting live for you. This is a summary from the live broadcast. They put a person out to fight Terry DWAYNE Ashford in the street that's almost identical to it, and they lost the fight in the street, and then they came back the next morning and they tried to sabotage Terry DWAYNE Ashford with the emotion of seeing the person who tried to fight him to see if Terry DWAYNE Ashford was going to fight him. Then they were going to develop sabotage, a sabotaging statement behind the scenes right there. We're waiting for you, Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police. We're fucking waiting for you!